The trading volumes of US Ethereum ETFs during the first week and the impact of Grayscale's fund on the market situation. Will Kamala Harris turn towards the crypto electorate? Are Solana, Cardano, and Polygon securities? 100 days after the halving, is it time for a Bitcoin price surge? I invite you to watch the 19th episode of KANGA Crypto News, in which I'm going to present you with the latest events from the world of crypto, which happened over the course of last week. Before we get started, remember that all of the information for KANGA Crypto News are collected by experienced analytics from KANGA and based on reliable sources from the internet. At the same time, remember that this is not investment advice. If you like what we are creating here, please subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up. Also, remember to click the bell button so that you won't miss out on any news from the world of crypto. Let's get started. The US spot Ethereum exchange-traded funds got off to a contrasting start last week, with net inflows into most ETFs overwhelmed by net outflows from Grayscale's converted fund, ETHE. 9 new spot Ethereum ETFs from 8 issuers launched last Tuesday after initially gaining approval from the Securities and Exchange Commission in May. In the first 4 days of trading, BlackRock's ETHA led the pack, generating $442 million worth of net inflows, followed by Bitwise's ETHW with $265.9 million and Fidelity's FETH with $219.4 million. VanEck's ETHV, Franklin Templeton's EZIT, Investco QATH, and 21 Shares CETH also generated a combined total of $80.4 million worth of net inflows. In fact, almost all of the ETFs have generated inflows, with the exception of Grayscale's ETHE, witnessing over $1.5 billion in net outflows last week alone, leading to a total net outflow of $341.8 million for the combined US spot Ethereum ETFs. That compares to a first 4-day total net inflow of $1.26 billion for the US spot Bitcoin ETFs, which launched in January. However, excluding ETHE, the Ethereum ETFs generated around 40% of the net inflows witnessed by the Bitcoin ETFs after their launch in January, excluding the similarly converted GBTC at $1.17 billion compared to $2.89 million. Ex-ETHE, well over $1 billion came into spot Ethereum ETFs this week. A portion was clearly recycled from ETHE, but nowhere close to the primary driver, in my opinion. The ETF store president Nate Gerassi said on Friday, "Think highly successful debut. Another way to think of this is investors wanted $1 billion plus Ether exposure via TradFi rails in 4 days," he added. The spot Bitcoin ETFs generated a total net inflow of $49.4 million during the same 4 days last week, led by BlackRock's IBIT with $231.8 million worth of inflows, though Vicare's BRRR data from Friday trading is still pending at the time of recording. The Bitcoin ETF's figures fell considerably following the Ethereum ETF's launch, having posted $485.9 million of net inflows last Monday. The overwhelming influence on the market situation is, of course, ETHE Grayscale. The Grayscale Ethereum Trust first launched as a private placement in 2017. In mid-2019, its shares began trading publicly on OTC markets under the ticker ETHE. This continued until July 23rd, when ETHE was uplisted to NYSE Arca as one of the newly approved spot Ethereum ETFs. ETHE also has a much higher fee, charging 2.5% compared to the 0.19% to 0.25% post-waiver fees on the other issuers' spot Ethereum ETFs. However, in a two-pronged strategy from the incumbent Grayscale, its additional Grayscale Mini Trust Ethereum ETF product, ETH, charges the lowest fee of all at just 0.15%. From the roughly $10 billion worth of assets, 2.9 million Ether, the Grayscale's Ethereum Trust held prior to conversion $9.2 billion worth of seed funding was allocated to ETHE and just over $1 billion to its ETH fund. Grayscale's ETH mini trust also witnessed net inflows last week, totaling $164 million. However, ETH's substantial outflows combined with a drop in Ether's price since the ETFs launched have seen its assets under management fall to under around $7.5 billion, 2.28 million Ether, according to its fund page. Kamala Harris has been the vice president of the USA since 2021. So far, she has not been very favorable towards cryptocurrencies. Will she change her stance now? Will she attend the upcoming crypto conference? Big Democratic donors are pushing for Blockworks to book presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris to speak at its upcoming crypto conference as crypto enthusiasts turn their attention toward a US presidential election that some believe is a referendum on the mainstreaming of crypto. The crypto conference organizers are exploring the possibility of securing Vice President Harris at its US politics-focused, permissionless event from October 9th to 11 at the behest of those donors. These donors have been even offered to facilitate talks between Harris's representatives and Blockworks conference organizers who are aiming to pull people from both sides of the political aisle. Mike Novogratz, CEO and founder of Galaxy Digital and a well-known Democrat, will be speaking at the event and has been urging the crypto community not to turn its back on Harris. Yanovitz declined to comment on whether Novogratz was brokering a possible appearance. Presidential nominee Donald Trump gave a pro-crypto speech that wooed some members of the crypto community at Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville, Tennessee on Saturday. Trump, who was initially anti-crypto, has executed an about-face and now says that he will fire SEC Chairman Gary Gensler on day one of his administration. He also said he would create a strategic Bitcoin stockpile for the US. Another win of crypto over the SEC. SEC backs down on claiming Sol, ADA, and MATIC and other tokens are securities in Binance suit. The SEC has retracted its request for a court ruling to classify tokens such as Solana, Cardano, Polygon, and others as securities. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission is no longer asking a court to decide and deem the tokens named in lawsuit against crypto exchange Binance as securities. On July 30th, the SEC filed a response to the court's minute ordering July 9, 2024. In the filing, the SEC wrote that it seeks to amend its complaint regulating the third-party crypto asset securities defined in its opposition to Binance's motion to dismiss. According to the SEC, this removes the need to issue a ruling as to the sufficiency of the allegations as to those tokens at this time. This means the government agency no longer asks the court to decide whether the affected tokens are securities. In its suit against Binance, the SEC claimed several tokens were securities. The list includes Binance USD, Solana, Cardano, Polygon, MATIC, Cosmos, The Sandbox, Decentraland, Axie Infinity, and Coty. These tokens are just part of a bigger list of tokens that the SEC believes to be securities. In June 2023, the SEC claimed at least 68 tokens were securities, affecting more than $100 billion worth of cryptocurrencies in the market. Bitcoin is all about cycles. One of the most important elements of this cyclicity is the halving, which I want to talk about today. The clock has ticked on Bitcoin's post-halving surge 100 days after the latest quadrennial halving. Moving past Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump's appearance at the Nashville's Bitcoin conference, the crypto community will likely remember that July 29th marks the 100th day since Bitcoin blockchain implemented its for mining reward halving. The bullish impact of the halving-led slowdown in Bitcoin supply expansion tends to kick in after 100 days, new research by ETC Group shows. Bitcoin mining reward halving is an inbuilt code that takes effect every 4 years or after 210,000 blocks are mined on the blockchain. The Quadrennial event reduces the reward miners receive for validating transactions by 50%. The primary goal is to control the supply of Bitcoin and ensure it becomes scarce over time, unlike fiat currencies, which have ever-increasing supply. Monetary inflation. Bitcoin supply is capped at 21 million, and the reward halving helps to manage how fast that limit is hit. The first halving, implemented in 2012, reduced the per-block reward paid to miners to 25 BTC from 50 BTC. Over the next two halvings, the per-block supply fell to 6.25 BTC. The latest halving, implemented on April 20th, reduced the further to 3.125 BTC. The previous halvings paved the way for multi-fold price rallies, with most gains coming after the first 100 days. July 29th marks exactly 100 days after the Bitcoin halving event on April 20th. The market tends to have a short memory, but the halving-induced supply deficit should just start taking effect from now on, Andrei Dragos, head of research at ETC Group, said on X. Dragos reached that conclusion after scanning the performance data before and after the previous three halvings implemented in 2012, 2016, and 2020. The key takeaway is that 100 days after the halving, the performance difference becomes statistically significant, t-value more than 2, and then becomes increasingly significant until around 400 days after the halving, Dragos said. Do you want to understand better how halving works? I invite you to learn at KANGA University, where you will find lessons for beginner, intermediate, and advanced investors. In the meantime, let's move on to the next news, where you'll find some useful information about ETFs on Solana. Investment firm VanEck on Thursday filed for a Solana-based exchange-traded fund. Many experts say the US Securities and Exchange Commission is unlikely to approve the listing, given that it has already declared Solana's native token is a security in at least 2 lawsuits. However, VanEck's head of digital assets research, Matt Siegel, said it is the right time to try. We believe that the regulatory landscape is shifting. He pointed to recent bipartisan legislative advancements, such as the passage of the landmark FIT21 market structure bill and how the SEC abruptly changed course and agreed to approve spot Ether ETFs to support his position. VanEck has been on record since last year that it believes the Trump campaign will win re-election, which would likely ease the regulatory burden on financial firms given the former president's embrace of crypto. However, Siegel said that there is a good chance SOL ETF would be approved regardless of who wins in November. There is a good chance SEC Chairman Gary Gensler is fired, Siegel said, whether that's because of the incoming Trump administration or if it's named Treasury Secretary under Biden. When asked whether Gensler has done anything right regarding crypto regulation, Siegel replied with a firm no. One of the reasons why pundits are skeptical as Solana ETF might get approved anytime soon is because the cryptocurrency hasn't been listed on futures ETFs. For instance, Cube.exchange CEO Bartosz Lipinski said it would be surprising to see the SEC allow such a fund to come to market without futures, as that has seemingly been the path for both BTC and ETH spot ETFs. However, Siegel argued this isn't a requirement. The SEC has often relied on futures market to meet its market surveillance requirements to list particular exchange-traded products. Siegel noted that it's hardly the only path, mentioning the information-sharing agreements between spot crypto exchanges and the listing ETF market pioneered by BlackRock's IBIT Bitcoin ETF. Lastly, news about a game where you can manage your own cryptocurrency exchange? Of course, we're talking about Hamster Kombat, a project that has already reached 300 million players and is revealing further plans. Hamster Kombat's anonymous team shared the stat in a new white paper released Tuesday, which details plans for the allocation of the game's upcoming token launch on the open network TON. The launch was planned for July, but earlier announcements on Monday suggested that the airdrop is still in the planning stages. Hamster Kombat has seen enormous growth in recent weeks. Telegram CEO Pavel Durov said on July 5th that the game had attracted 239 million players by that point, and the game's team put the sum at 250 million just days later. The 300 million player tally is an incredible amount for any game. Major free-to-play games like Fortnite and Roblox are estimated to each have more than 200 million monthly active players, for example. Hamster Kombat's total is an all-time high mark, however, plus it only takes a few seconds to hop into the Telegram mini app to start playing. This was the 19th episode of KANGA CRYPTO News. More is coming soon. Remember to give us a sub and a thumbs up. Thanks to this, you will be up to date with what's new in the world of crypto. See you in the next episode. Bye!
We are KANGA, beyond crypto.